Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. It's indeed a great privilege for us at Amyra Creations to attempt adequate awareness generation on key and relevant aspects. One of the very significant topic for today's discussion is the concept of kidnapping and abduction as per the Indian law. Now, what are the striking differences in these two terms? Whether they are one and the same, and can they be used interchangeably? So, to make the things in better perspective, these are two separate class of offences defined under the Indian Penal Code 1860, whereas Section 359, Section 360, and Section 361 defines the concept of kidnapping. On the other hand, Section 362 of the Indian Penal Code defines the term abduction. Kidnapping. Now, Section 359 of the Indian Penal Code provides that kidnappings are of two kinds. One, kidnapping from India, which is Section 360, and kidnapping from lawful guardianship, which is Section 361. The word kidnapping has its genesis in the Dutch word kid, meaning a child, and nap, meaning to steal. So, Section 360, which deals with kidnapping from India, is basically a defining clause which says that whoever conveys any person beyond the limits of India without the consent of that person or some person legally authorized to consent of on behalf of that person is said to kidnap that person from India. So, what are the essential ingredients? This section requires two things: conveying of any person beyond limits of India, and secondly, such conveying must be without the consent of that person. So, this is kidnapping from India. Whereas, what is kidnapping from lawful guardianship? Section 361 deals with this particular instance, and it speaks that whoever takes or entices any minor, in case of a male under 16 years and in case of a female under 18 years, or any unsound mind person, out of the keeping of lawful guardian without the consent of such guardian, is said to kidnap such minor or person from a lawful guardianship. So, what are the essential ingredients in case of kidnapping from a lawful guardianship? They are clear. There are four essential ingredients. Number one, there should be taking or enticing away a minor or a person of unsound mind. Number two, such minor must be under 16 years of age if a male, or under 18 years of age if a female. Thirdly, the taking or enticing away must be out of the keeping of a lawful guardian of such minor or person of unsound mind. And lastly, such taking or enticing must be without the consent of such guardian. Now, what do we imply by the words taking or enticing any minor? Does it connote taking by force, or it is not confined to use of force, actual or constructive? Now, these words merely mean to cause to go, to escort, or to get into possession. In the judgment of Thakurlal Vedgama versus State of Gujarat in year 1973, the Honorable Supreme Court, so far as the word takes is concerned, observed that the gravamen of this offence lies in taking or enticing of a minor under the ages specified in this section out of the keeping of a lawful guardian, and it does not necessarily imply taking or enticing any minor by force. Now, the other very important question is that whether kidnapping is a continuing offense. That is, if A kidnaps a minor girl from Chandigarh and then takes the girl to Ambala, Karnal, Delhi, Bombay, Goa. So, whether kidnapping is a continuing offense and it was said to be kidnapping even when the girl is at Bombay or Goa, or whether the offense of kidnapping is complete once and for all the girl is kidnapped from Chandigarh. So the answer to this question is that kidnapping is not a continuing offense, and this has been held in case of state of Bihar versus Deokaram in year 1973 by the Honorable Supreme Court. Thus, A having kidnapped a minor girl from the lawful guardianship of her father was joined by B on the way along the girl kidnapped. B was held not guilty of kidnapping because kidnapping was complete the moment the girl is removed and it was not a continuing offense. Now, what is abduction? Section 362 of the Indian Penal Code states that whoever by force compels or by deceitful means induces any person to go from any place is said to abduct that person. Now, this section merely gives a definition of the word abduction, which occurs in some of the penal provisions, and there is no such offense as abduction under the Indian Penal Code, but abduction with certain intent is an offense, and force or fraud is an essential element of abduction. Now, there can be inducement by deceitful means. For an example, there was a particular case in year 1992 where the blind lady was to go to her school. However, the accused took her to some other secret premises. It was clear from the evidence that she did not consented to go to any other place except the school. Now, in this particular case, although there was no force or compulsion, but inducement also means persuasion, and it also means persuasion by using deceitful means. And it was held that since the girl, the blind prosecutrix, had not given her own consent, therefore the accused was held guilty for the offense of abduction. Now, to have conceptual clarity with regard to both these terms, it is very important to undermine and understand the basic difference between these terms. Kidnapping is committed only in respect of a minor under 16 years of age if male and under 18 years of age if female, or a person of unsound mind, whereas abduction can be committed in respect of a person of any age. So there is no age limit as far as abduction is concerned. Secondly, in kidnapping, the person kidnapped is removed out of the lawful guardianship. For example, a child without a guardian cannot be kidnapped, whereas abduction has reference exclusively to the person abducted. Thirdly, in kidnapping, the minor is simply taken away. The means used may be innocent, whereas in abduction, force, compulsion, or deceitful means are used. In kidnapping, consent of the person taken or enticed is immaterial. In abduction, however, the consent of the person moved, if freely and voluntarily given, condones abduction. In kidnapping, the intent of the offender is a wholly irrelevant consideration, whereas in abduction, the intent is one of the most crucial and important factors. Furthermore, kidnapping from guardianship is a substantive offense, but abduction, however, is an auxiliary act which is not punishable by itself but made criminal only when it is done with one or other of the intents as specified in section 364 of the Indian Penal Code. Now, section 363A till section 369 deals with certain serious forms of kidnapping and abduction. One of the key sections in this regard is section 363A, which deals with kidnapping or maiming a minor for the purposes of begging. Now, in this particular section, if any person kidnaps any minor and he is not a lawful guardian for that minor, and in order to such taking he obtains the custody of the minor, then if the custody is taken for the purposes of begging, the punishment may extend to 10 years. Moreover, in case the minor is permanently injured, that is, if a person maims any minor in order that such minor may be employed or used for the purposes of begging, then the punishment may extend till imprisonment for life along with fine. Furthermore, there is a presumption clause as per section 363A subclause 3, which says that where any person who is not a lawful guardian of the minor employs or uses such minor for the purposes of begging, it shall be presumed, unless contrary is proved, that he kidnapped or otherwise obtained the custody of that minor in order that the minor might be employed or used for the purpose of begging. I would further like to run through certain other important provisions along with the punishments so provided. If kidnapping or abduction is done with an intent to murder, then it is punishable with imprisonment for life or rigorous imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years. Similarly, in case of kidnapping for ransom, the punishment may extend till death or imprisonment for life along with fine. In other case, if kidnapping or abduction is done with intent secretly and wrongfully to confine a person, then it is punishable with imprisonment which may extend to 7 years. Furthermore, section 366 provides kidnapping, abducting or inducing a woman to compel her marriage, which is also punishable with imprisonment of 10 years. Procuration of a minor girl, that is, whoever by any means induces any minor girl under the age of 18 years to go from any place or to do any act with the intent that such girl may be, or knowingly that it is likely that she would be forced or seduced, then the punishment is for 10 years. Similarly, importation of a girl from foreign country, that also calls out for punishment for 10 years. Kidnapping or abducting in order to subject the person to grievous hurt, slavery, etc., the punishable may again extend to 10 years along with fine. Wrongfully concealing or keeping in confinement the kidnapped or abducted person, it calls out for the same punishment as if the person had himself kidnapped or abducted such person with the same intention or knowledge. Similarly, kidnapping or abducting a child under 10 years with intent to steal from its person is punishable for a term which may extend to 7 years along with fine. Well, this was the basic concepts as illustrated in the Indian Penal Code with regard to kidnapping, abduction, as well as these slight and minor differences between the two terms. I hope it was an enjoyable experience. Thank you for your patient hearing. Support this channel, like our videos, subscribe, and do hit the bell icon so that you get all the notifications pertaining to our new videos. Thanks once again.